Hi, lovely, and welcome to More Than the Glass. This is a space for honest conversations about motherhood, alcohol, identity, and reconnecting with yourself. I'm Karen,
And I'm Gillian.
and wherever you are on your journey, you're so welcome here because we deserve more. So, today we wanted to talk about I don't have a drinking problem, so why does this feel off?
This is the horrible to and froing bit, isn't it?
It is. And how long did we both spend toing and froing?
My goodness. This for me was probably the most painful part of it.
Mhm.
And I think it comes from this idea there's two positions. There's I'm not that bad and the I'm fine and the to and fro between these things. But the problem is, like, what do they even mean? Like, what is bad? What is I'm not that bad? What does that mean?
Who sets the rules?
Exactly. And I think we've got to be brutally honest with ourselves when it comes to bad alcohol. Like, there's such a stigma around it. There really is this extreme vision of what bad alcohol use looks like. And I've still got it in my head, even all these years down the line. Like, when I was saying to myself, I'm not that bad, I'm not that bad, I had a picture of somebody who was like falling apart. Um, I don't even need to visually describe it. We all know what we think this
Do?
alcoholic looks like,
Yeah.
which isn't what an alcoholic looks like because there's no such thing. But we've got this real down and out, barely surviving. Life is like absolutely falling apart. And I kept saying that to myself, I'm not that bad, I'm not that bad, because I had my stuff together. I hadn't been hurt or injured. I hadn't hurt or injured anybody else.
Mhm.
Um, I hadn't lost anything, to be perfectly honest. Everything looks good.
Yeah. Yeah. Outside perspective.
But I felt awful.
Mhm.
I felt bad, like the anxiety. I felt ashamed. I was sick to my stomach of myself.
Mhm.
Like, and I had said, I'm not doing this anymore, like so many times. But if you were to tick off all the things that count as bad, I hadn't done any of those things.
Mhm.
There was no tragic event, there was no raging arguments, there was no rock bottom. I had a job, a house, a family, looked on the face of it, everything all looks fine and dandy.
Mhm.
So I could, hand on heart, say to myself, I'm not that bad. It's the word that, isn't it?
Yes, it
I'm
is.
not that bad,
Yeah.
with actually no real concept of what bad.
Yeah. It excuses, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
I'm not that bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuses that behaviour. Yeah. Yeah, tell us a bit more, I guess, like your experience of kind of that bad.
I mean, I think if we're all honest, there's always somebody worse than us.
Hmm.
And I could maybe think of her or
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
or that night that things were never as bad as that. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, I'm not as
Yeah.
bad as her. And I was judgy of other people. I was very judgy of myself in the end. But
Mm,
I think I have been judgy of other people's drunken antics.
agreed. I
Um,
definitely was. And I'd use it. So if there had been like a night that I had my behaviour was like unacceptable, and you know, it was not, I was not the person that I normally was. Do you know what I mean? Once I'd had a drink, and it had, I'd go, oh, that was awful, that was really, really bad, you know. I once fell asleep in a in a bath, not a full bath, but I just couldn't find the bed, so I just fell asleep in the bath and that kind of thing. And then, you know, I get up the next morning and go out to my friends, and you know, you joke about it. Anyone else fall asleep in the bath last night? And they're like, oh my God, you didn't, did you? And it's, yeah, like that then makes it like humorous or whatever else. But actually, it was quite mortifying that I'd done that, and that I was that out of control, that I'd done that, and I couldn't find my way to the bed I was staying in. But then, yeah, like you go like a few nights along, and then someone else will do something, and I'm like, well, actually, what I did, that it wasn't as bad as that, but it was still bad, you know. That's still not a normal behaviour that I would display. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, it's mad. And other occasions where I like felt I'd let myself down, but then you're always thinking, oh yeah, I did that, but actually that person, what they did was so much worse. And it is like, yeah, that to and fro in your head. It's just exhausting.
Yeah, totally. And then it's like there's this unwritten or widely understood secret that we'll all just talk one another down, and we'll all make, because if you've regretted something, you can be 100% certain that everybody that you in the room has been there. I don't know, maybe that's not true. There are certain people who don't push it to these limits, but for some reason, even though you've been dying inside, there's always a friend there. There's always someone going, haha, you were hilarious.
Exactly.
Like, don't worry about it. Don't be stupid. Everybody does it. And you're like, so in general, doesn't matter what you do, there's always somebody there to talk you down and say, it's all right, it's all right.
Exactly.
Remember, so-and-so done this.
I know.
And it just keeps this, I don't know, it's like this really shitty security blanket that lets you keep doing.
It is. I mean, honestly, like you can do so, and then it's just like, oh, for goodness sake, like, you know, no one died, no one got hurt, no one got injured, you know, it's not that bad, get a grip. And you're like, yeah, I kind of get what you're saying in your counsel. However, like, still what I did is not a normal behaviour.
No.
So, you know, it's like, I don't know, and it's like a jolly jape, and everyone thinks it's funny, but inside it's mortifying. Like you're just like, what the hell? How did I do that? How did I end up in that state? And it's then everything, all the emotion associated with it. It's just awful.
It's horrendous. I remember getting out. God, I feel awful just even saying it. I got out a taxi. And I went into a supermarket, so I was obviously going for more booze. And I left my bag in the taxi and never went back in that taxi. And that man took my bag to the wee local police station, who, on returning my bag, having found my driver's license, went to my old address, which my mother-in-law now lives in. I mean, in all of God's name, the police going to your mother-in-law's house, in fairness, to
We're
return.
laughing about it.
They
Yeah.
were like, I'm laughing now. But this taxi driver's like, she's not paid my taxi. She's disappeared. Where's she going? And the police go. So then they get, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm a grown ass woman, and there was police coming to my door, not because I had committed a crime, but because of alcohol. That was because of alcohol.
Yeah, and I think it's that whole complete change in like characteristics, behaviours, everything that are so far removed from the person that you are on a normal day-to-day life. But then that behaviour then gets excused or brushed under the carpet. Do you know what I mean? Or like,
don't worry about it, Gillian.
Yeah, that behaviour is not, is not like your normal everyday behaviour. So why is it okay? Why is it just accepted? And
No, I know. When did we get to the point where that kind of shitty behaviour was okay?
yeah, exactly.
So that's what bad.
Yeah.
There's the extreme bad that we don't associate with. There is the bad that we actually do
Mhm.
connect with, that we know is not us, but it's also talked down.
Yeah.
And then the other side of that is, I'm
It's
fine.
fine.
I'm
It's
fine.
fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, I'm fine. Fine needs to be banned. I
Mhm.
get a campaign to have it banned. If you're fine, I mean, what actually even are you if you're fine? You're literally in no man's land. You're not experiencing anything. You're just flatlining. There's no, I see fine as there's no highs, there's no like, it's just mundane. You're just going through the motions, you're existing. And that for me, in some senses, is even worse. It is a lie as well. It is a
Mhm.
lie. You are not fine. Like, it just needs to go. At least when it's bad, like we know what it's talking about. It brings up all of like these
Mhm.
feelings and emotions. Whereas bland old fine, it's just nothing. It is vanilla. There is just nothing there. And fine keeps you stuck. Fine keeps you stuck in this life where you are not getting what you deserve.
Yeah.
You're not living the life you deserve, a life of purpose, a life of joy, like a life of, if you choose, making difference. You are literally just surviving.
Yeah.
It is plodding along, accepting the same old crap, poor behaviours, poor standards. I just honestly, it's just, you never ever seeing anything better. Like
Yeah.
you're never like reaching for, I don't know, it's just something more. There is more out there, but you're just stuck. And I think for a lot of time you accept fine because you're like, oh, I can't accept. I just need the drama to stop, and I don't want the highs and the lows, and I just want like some peace. But actually, I never ever want to settle for being fine ever again. Like if you ever ask me how are you, and I say I'm fine, like there's something wrong.
But I was fine, Karen. I was fine for years. Like
Yeah,
fine as I've got the husband, I've got the job, I've got the kid, I've got the house, and we just trundle on Monday to Friday, Friday to Sunday, Monday
yeah,
to Friday, Friday to Sunday. There's no experiences there. There's no difference. It's
no,
just fine. It's not even black and white. It's that really
murky.
grey.
Yeah, yeah,
And I can genuinely say it wasn't until I stopped drinking that you feel the things that are going on in life, and you feel um the wee things that actually light you up.
yeah.
And I know we'll go on to talk about how like being alcohol free feels in another episode, and this is about that
Hmm.
s- situation that you're stuck in. But yeah,
No,
fine is
so right. And again, I know you've said that we'll talk about it further down the line, but it is like, honestly, there have been so many moments like in my alcohol free experience where I don't know, it's like an out of body experience, and you're like, oh my God, like the feelings and the colour is insane. And you're like,
mhm.
oh, this is truly living,
Yeah.
truly living. And that back then, what I was doing, it was not. It was not. I was literally going through the motions every single day. And there does come a point, I think, and it definitely was for both of us, where you're like, actually, do you know what? There is got to be more. There has got to be more than this.
Yeah, totally. I think both there does come a point. But the bit is when you're neither bad nor fine, and you're just like, oh, I think the problem with that is there is no definition. Like there's no that's bad, that so you're measuring yourself in something that can't really be measured, if you know what I mean, and you flop between these two. So one, you're like, oh, I hate this feeling, this is so bad, and then you're like, oh no, I'm fine. And that's where you're trying to measure this drink problem on two opposite ends of a scale that can actually be defined or measured, and you literally just float about, like, and you just want to keep saying, like, you just keep going along with it because you daren't ask for anything more or better for yourself. Like you're stuck in that place that that's not bad enough. I can't ask for more or better, so I'm just going to hang about in this horrible abyss, really. It's just a kind of no man's land.
And that place is so damaging. Again, like, I can take myself back to a year that I spent flip-flopping in those places, from bad to fine. And it was after I'd had my first long stint, like the 18 months, and then I went back to drinking, and I had that whole year where there were definitely several points which were bad, and then I would get through that, and then I would just sit in that fine space, and I couldn't move any further. Like, I couldn't move any further than that. And I was, well, I say it very openly, it was the most awful year of my life, literally, because I was just stuck between those two places. And it wasn't even like the highs and the lows that you sometimes experience in life, where you have the bad times, but then you have the highs, and you can kind of feel like you can meet in the middle. But when you're stuck in those two places and you can't see a way out, but you've known, actually, a year ago, life was so much better. It was filled with so much more promise, so much more experience, like so many more memories, and you were like in such a better place. To then be stuck back in that place, it was hugely damaging to myself, to my mental health, and the anxiety was it was crippling, and I just couldn't move out of it. And you just stuck comparing yourself to everybody else, people pleasing, going through the motions, but you're so deeply unhappy. But I just kind of didn't quite have the courage or the bravery to step out of it again.
And I think that's what it is. You're just sitting there waiting on something else happening. So if you're waiting on it being bad enough, then you're sitting waiting on something really awful happening. But if you want to get beyond fine, you need to go and do something about it. Like, it's not going to come and happen all of a sudden.
No one's going to come and save you. Like, it's everyone for themselves. You've got to do it.
It is. Yeah, I can't actually put my finger on how long I sat in that for. Like, I know that for the first time I stopped, like, the first time I done like an alcohol-free challenge with 1 year no beer, to the summer that I actually stopped was 3 years. Now, I had obviously been in this bit well before that first time. Right. And the only reason I don't know how long that's went on is because that's just all in my head. Whereas the starting 1 year no beer, there's the phone, there's the records on your phone, there's things like that. So that's when the first date started. But this bit, this horrible bit where I'm not happy, but I don't have the guts to do anything about it, that takes a long time. And I guess what we need, or what we really hope people know out of this, is there is no defining moment. It is up to you. It's when things are no longer good enough for you, not the pal that's telling you, don't worry,
No.
you weren't that bad. You don't need to wait on something bad happening, but it can be. But you're sitting there saying to yourself, is this it? Is this all I've got? See, when you start thinking that, that's the time to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really important that anyone listening to that hears that you are allowed to feel this, right? You are allowed to question how you're feeling. It's your life, no one else's life. Like, if you are feeling these feelings, it is valid and it is okay. You can question them. You can think about doing something about it. Like, you don't have to feel like you've got to have it all sorted out. You don't have to feel like you've got a master plan. Like, just the fact that you're questioning it and it's in your head is enough to take that first step. And again, just know you're not on your own. You are not on your own.
Yeah.
We've been
Yeah.
there.
We're allowed to feel what we're feeling, because I think that's the other thing for our mums as well, isn't it? That they're like, not only do they feel it, but they then feel bad about feeling it, and we catch ourselves in another circle of shame and guilt. Like, what do I have to moan about? Look at how good I've got it. Look at this. Look at that. But we're talking about your feelings here. We're not talking about the job you've got, the kids that you've got, the clothes that they're wearing, or all the rest of it. We are talking about that niggling, gnawing feeling, and it is okay, and it's okay to just sit there for a wee while without any master plan. Yeah, it is. You are not alone.
You're not.
Okay, well, I think we'll leave it there for today. But thank you so much for listening. We hope that you're leaving this episode feeling a bit more seen, supported, and reminded that you do not have to do this alone. If anything in this episode has resonated with you and you're curious about what more could look like, you can find us over at our circle. So until next time, take gentle care of yourself, because we deserve more.